Good afternoon. Thank you for inviting us. We are the Sheriff's Auxiliary Volunteers, and we represent the Scam Squad. So we're going to talk about scams. Okay, are you ready?
Are you ready?
I think we're ready.
Okay, good.
Okay, so see on the slide 3 words at the bottom that are very, very important. Hang up, delete, shred. We will be talking about this throughout this presentation. My name is Sylvia Bencomo. I am the manager of the Scam Squad. This is my partner, Bernie Hartz, also a member of your church. And she will also be helping with this presentation, and especially in answering questions. Bernie does an awful lot of phone work at the Scam Squad, answering people's concerns, questions, researching things for them. So we do a lot of stuff. We'll get going then. So we do presentations, and we do phone work. We encourage everyone who has any concerns, any questions about anything that may sound like it might be a scam and you just want to verify, give us a call. We are giving you information in those handouts. Our telephone number is there, and we are in our office from Monday through Thursday from 9 a.m. to 12 noon. And so if you have any questions, call us. If we're busy on the phone, leave a message. We will call you back. So, we added one more golden rule. We had 3. We added don't answer. If you don't know who is calling you, if your caller ID is showing you a telephone number or some person you don't know, don't answer. Let it go to your voicemail or your answering machine, and then you can decide with a clear mind whether it's someone you really want to talk to. Hang up if you did pick up the phone and it's someone you don't want to talk to. If it's a sales pitch, if it's a robocall, those are easy. Hang up, disconnect. Delete your emails and text messages. Do not respond to links in your emails or your text messages. They want you to click on a link so you can get further information. They want you to do that because scammers are on the other side waiting to play something on you, okay? So just delete them. Do not respond to any of those. If you are in doubt about it, it's coming from your bank. Did my bank really send me this text message or email and this link? Call your bank. Ask them directly. Do not respond to a phone number that may be coming from a scammer or a link that can be sending you to a bad site. Shred. By that I mean your mail that you get from the post office. You get a lot of junk mail, right? Well, a lot of your junk mail has your name and address there. That's how it got to your house. Your catalogs have your name and address sometimes in the order form. Rip those names and addresses out of there. That can go in the shredder. Everything else can go in the trash or your recycling bin. We don't want to encourage dumpster divers to go and see what it is that you're throwing away. A name and address. That's exactly what they want. So we are here for these reasons, to empower you, to make you aware of what is going on, to educate you, and to interact with you. And you interact with me and tell me what you have experienced. This is how we all learn about scams, and we learn to protect one another. So we work very closely with the Pima County Sheriff's Department. Our presentation has been approved. And we encourage you to encourage your friends to look into us. We're really a great organization. Modest, no, what's that? Webster Dictionary identifies a scam as a fraudulent business deal, a swindle, also defrauding by taking people's money by way of deceiving. And I'm sure most of you know that, but just in case, they threaten people, they scare you, they make you excited, they frighten you to the point where you're not using your common sense. So you can call them whatever you want, but we call them slime balls. She met him on the internet. He said he lived in a gated community. Okay, well, we want to talk about romance scams. This is one of those. I mean, I live in a gated community, and I saw your name on the internet, on the web, on the social media. I really would like to meet you. I understand that you're alone. You don't have a husband. You don't have a wife. You know, I would like to be your friend. And little by little, they get to know you. You divulge information about yourself. They know a little bit more. And the next thing you know, they want to come visit you. But guess what? They don't have the money. Can you send them money so that they can come? This is one person coming to visit you, not they, but. And think about it. They want to come see you and they don't have any money. Do you want to have anything to do with a person who doesn't have any money? What kind of a fun date is that going to be?
Zero.
Right. Okay. So we just want to make people aware that this kind of stuff goes on all the time. These guys sometimes are really behind bars making the phone calls to lonely widows and widowers. Okay? The first scam reported was in 1588, and from there, it's been many of them. The Ponzi scam, everyone knows about the Ponzi scam. The Nigerian scam, we still get letters from people, or people receive letters from someone in Nigeria who wants to share their wealth with them. Can you believe that? So they want your bank account so that they can put the money into the bank account, and the next thing you know, your bank account is clean. Okay, so scam was added to the modern English language in Time magazine when they ran a story back in 1982. And since then, the word scam is pretty common now. A little history. Who said, I'll have a hamburger today for which I will gladly pay you on Tuesday? Okay, that is how scammers operate. That is how they say, I'll give you something if you give me something, but you give it to me first, right? You give me the money first. So please be really careful about these things. Don't let anyone talk you into doing something you don't want to do.
Identity theft happens. It's an unfortunate fact of modern life. But there are certain steps you can take to help keep your personal information from falling into the wrong hands. Every day you do things to protect what's most important to you. And you know what? You do them almost automatically. Routine things like looking both ways before you cross, brushing your teeth, buckling your seatbelt. Another routine to get into is keeping tabs on your identity and personal information. Here are 5 easy ways you can do it. Read your credit card and bank statements carefully and often. Know your payment due dates. If the bill doesn't show up when you expect it, look into it. Read the statements from your health insurance plan and make sure the claims paid match the care you got. Shred any documents with personal and financial information. Review each of your 3 credit reports at least once a year. It's easy and it's free. And before you know it, protecting your personal information can be as routine as locking your doors at night. For more tips and tools on dealing with identity theft, visit ftc.gov/ID theft. That's ftc.gov/ID theft.
they are. We went over them in the video to check your credit card statements, your bank statements, your medical statements. If you're on Medicare, which I'm sure you are, check your Medicare statement and make sure that the charges that you see on that statement were really yours and not someone else's, because that can happen. Shred any financial information that you don't need anymore. You've already seen your bank statement. You've already balanced your checkbook to the penny, like I do. Then get rid of that statement. If you, for some reason, need a copy of that statement, the bank can provide you another one. So you don't need to save this stuff, shred it. Make sure that your name, address, and the account number is destroyed, and everything else can be thrown away. Your credit reports are free, so you can go to one of the credit bureaus, request your credit report once a year. It is free. I just want to mention another thing that you need to watch for. When we talk about checking your statements from your medical statements, Medicare, we get a lot of stuff on emails and text messages coming from Medicare. Make certain that it is really coming from Medicare. Always verify. If there is some asking you to verify your Social Security number or verify the account where you're receiving your Social Security benefits, that's a no-no. Social Security already has it. You don't need to provide this information to anybody. That should be a red flag to you that there is a scammer who's really wanting your information. Other thing that I wanted to bring out to you, here's a copy of a Medicare survey that I got, right? It came online, and it says Medicare Searcher, find and compare Medicare coverage online. Well, you know, I didn't trust it. This came during this time of year when we're all signing up with new plans if we need to sign up. So I looked up the information on this particular survey, and it turned out to be a storage warehouse complex. That is not where Medicare has its offices, okay? So be very careful about surveys that you get online. Many times, these surveys are very, very scammy. The goal of the scammer is to work on your emotions. As I said before, they will get you excited. You won, you won, you won the Publishers Clearinghouse. They will scare you. Your grandson's in trouble. You need to help your grandson or he's going to stay in jail for a long time. You know, your emotions just go out the window when something like this happens, and that's exactly what scammers are hoping, is to get you so nervous or so excited that you're not thinking straight. You're thinking, oh my goodness, I'm going to have all this money I can share, I can buy, I can do all kinds of wonderful things. Or, oh my gosh, my grandson's in trouble, I got to do something about it. That's a scam, both of them. And there's so many. It's hard to cover those scams in 30 minutes. So we'll do the best we can. Gift cards. Who doesn't like to get a gift card or give them? Because they're so much easier than to try to figure out what somebody likes. But if you give them a gift card, then they get something they want, right? Well, scammers also are interested in your gift cards. So if you are asked to pay for something with a gift card, that is a scam. A gift card is to be used only for the store reflected on that gift card. You go there and you buy something with it. You don't pay utility bills, you don't pay the IRS, you don't pay to get your grandson out of trouble. Nothing like that, okay? Remember, gift cards are just to buy things from the store where that gift card comes from. If you were talked into getting a gift card and it's for a scam, and you bought the gift card and now you want to back out of it. You know you can't just say, give me back my money, here's the card. The store can't do that. But if you keep the receipt, you can call the company and tell them, I got this gift card, I have the receipt, I haven't given anybody the information, I would like to have my money back, and they will refund your money. So this is something new, okay? Remember, when you get a gift card for anyone, save that receipt. You are a target if you have a cell phone, a telephone, a landline, you get mail, you have a computer. I mean, they get you from all directions. So always be careful about that. You will be called. They call all the time, and these are the robocalls or just people calling. That has kind of gone down a little bit, but there are still ways for these scammers to get around and put those robocalls into us. So if you get a robocall, just simply hang up. That's easy. If you get a real person and you're hearing something about you can make an investment on something, this is such a good deal, you can make a lot of money, all you have to do is this and that, hang up. You don't want to communicate with a stranger, much less give him your personal financial information, which is what they're going to want. So be smart. You have not won a sweepstake, a lottery, if you haven't played. Did you buy a lottery ticket? Did you enter that contest? Publishers Clearinghouse calls every month. You won. No, you didn't. Publishers Clearinghouse does not call you, send you a letter, email you, or text you. What they do is just like you see it on TV. They come knocking on your door with this giant check, balloons, champagne, cameras, and they catch you in your pajamas. And you've won. That's how but you have to have entered the Publishers Clearinghouse contest, okay? So remember that. If anyone calls you or sends you a letter, that's a scam. Surveys, we talked about surveys. Don't do surveys. I don't do surveys, and I'll tell you why. Because when you do a survey, you are providing your name and address and telephone number and email address and where you bank, because I want to know that, and how many appliances you have in your house. Why? Right? Some surveys are legitimate, but how do you know which ones are? Some surveys are sold to other companies who will now hit you with their products. So if you don't want to be bothered by that, easiest thing to do, ignore surveys. But you go out and you get a new toaster, and your toaster comes with a little warranty card that you need to fill out. Just give them your name and address and telephone number and maybe your email address. You don't need to provide information such as how much money your household makes, how many people live in your house, how many cars do you have. You don't need to provide them that information. They just need your name and address, because if there is a recall on that appliance, they can send you a card or letter and telling you this toaster has been recalled, you need to do this or that, right? That's the only reason you would want to complete those warranty cards. So your friend went out of the country and suddenly you get an email telling you they were robbed, their money is gone, they don't have their passport, can you send them money? Are you going to? It's coming from your friend. No, you verify. You call your friend, are you really out of the country? Or call someone who knows your friend, is she really out of the country? She must be in trouble? Or no, they're not. This is all a scam. You verify before you send strangers your money. The IRS is not going to send you a notification that you might be due a refund, right? You know whether you're due a refund or not. And if anything, the IRS may send you a letter telling you you owe them money. But that letter that you get from the IRS will have a reference number. And that reference number, if you call the IRS and give them the reference number, they know exactly who to give the call to within the agency to talk to you about whatever the situation was with your refund or no refund, or maybe there was some mathematical mistake or something like that. But you do not get notifications like this, because guess what? If there's a telephone number for you to call or a link for you to click on, they may want you to pay the taxes on that refund, right? And you're paying them to a scammer who may want to say, wire us the money or send us, buy gift cards and give us the numbers on the gift cards, okay? So, how to spot a scammer who pretends to be from the IRS? First of all, the most important thing, the IRS is not going to call you, okay? They don't call you, but you can call the IRS. And when you call them, they are going to ask you for identification. How do they know I'm talking to Mary, you know? You can say you're Mary, but you're not Mary, right? But if you give them the right social security number, then they verify that. But you're calling the IRS, they're not calling you. If you get a call from the IRS and they want to verify your social security number, you hang up. Or you get a letter telling you there's a problem and they want to verify your bank account, making sure that your refunds are going to go into the right bank account number that they have. That's a no-no. You call the IRS and verify. Do you really have a mess with my bank account? Do you really need me to go over my bank account information so that I can get my refund? If you have been victimized, please don't feel embarrassed or ashamed. It happens to the best of us. It really does. We need to report whenever you have experienced being scammed. If you have lost money, you need to file a report with the Sheriff's Department here in Green Valley. That's our law enforcement. If you live somewhere else where there's a police department, then you report to your police department. You need to report these things. Another agency you need to report is the Federal Trade Commission, because they do work on finding scammers and they do succeed in making arrests. So Charlie says, how do you know if you can trust someone? And Snoopy says, if it barks or purrs, it's 100% reliable. Okay? So we are all humans. And we can be trusted, some of us can, right? But a dog and a cat, those are the most loyal friends you have that you can trust. So technology makes it easy for scammers to fake caller ID. They go out, they buy a burner phone from Walmart, Target, program a number they want you to see on your caller ID. There's so many minutes on those burner phones, and then they start using these phones to call people and telling them, I am Pastor so-and-so, and you know this pastor, and I am calling to ask you if you will donate so much money or gift cards because we know a family who really could use this money. Okay, it's your pastor calling, or writing a letter, or sending an email. Are you going to do it? You have to verify. I had a call yesterday at the office from a gentleman. It's a different church, but they got an email from their pastor asking them to donate money. And they're new to this church, so he didn't know if this was really something the church would do, so he called the church, and they said, oh, no, that isn't us. And that's what you have to do. You verify before you send them any money. Your pastor would have said something at church, or it would have been on your bulletin, or it would have been online with your church's website. So you verify whether this is really true or not. Neighborhood spoofing, it's when you get a phone call with a zip code area that you are familiar with.
Not zip code.
Area
code.
Area code, thank you. Area code. You are familiar with, oh, it might be someone I know, right? So you answer. Scammers are very good at doing this kind of stuff to us because they think, yeah, for sure, you're going to answer because it's an area code where you came from. And most of us have phones, cell phones with area codes from other state, cities, right? And I don't think that most of us have all those telephone numbers memorized, right? So if you're not sure, let it go to voicemail. Let that be your secretary. You check your voicemails later on. If they left a message, listen to it. Is it really someone you want to talk to? But scammers usually don't like to leave messages. They like to talk to you. They want to make sure you answer the phone when they call. If you just ignore them, they just go on to someone else who might answer the phone. So be very, very careful about answering just because the phone rings. And I realize that there are situations when you're waiting for your doctor to call you with a diagnosis, or your pharmacy to call you with notice that your prescription is ready for pickup, and the number reflected on the area, on the caller ID, is not the number that you're familiar with from the doctor's office or the pharmacy. They have lots of phones within the doctor's office, right? So the doctor picked up a phone in the nearest office and called you, and so that number is not going to be in your phone. And so you don't want to pick up, but you are waiting for the doctor to call you. So go ahead and answer. If it's not the doctor, hang up. Easy. We are all from a generation where we grew up to be polite people. That's what our parents wanted us to be. Polite. When you picked up the phone, you were polite to people. You didn't hang up on them. But guess what? Now it's different, because the calls that we are getting now are not from trusted people. So report scams to law enforcement. Be aware that you will probably be contacted again. Scammers are not giving up easily. They will keep trying. And remember, do not answer if you don't recognize the number. Hang up if you did answer and you recognize that it's not anyone you want to talk to. Delete your emails and text messages. Don't share any information with strangers. Shred your mail. The name and address portion of it, make sure you look inside those catalogs, because your name is going to be on that order form. They made it easy for you. All you have to do is fill in all the blanks and order. And we do this time of year. We order a lot of stuff, so you have to be really careful that you get rid of anything that you don't want. And then that is where we live. This is where our office is, and you are welcome to come and visit us. We will, if you're interested in becoming a volunteer, we're always looking for volunteers. We always want people helping us to help run this community and to protect people from, like in our situation, from falling victims to scams. But we do a lot of stuff, and you will see information inside that handout of all the duties that the scams, not the Scam Squad, but the Sheriff's Auxiliary Volunteers performs for our community. And it's all done for free because we are a nonprofit. So we depend on donations. So whenever possible, you you're welcome to come by the office, drop off a donation if you want. You know, we take care of people's homes while you're gone away on vacation or you're gone for the summer. We watch people's homes. And so, yeah, we really appreciate donations whenever you feel that you can give us something. That goes towards everything that we do, all our supplies. As I said, we are a nonprofit, and we appreciate what you do for us, and we appreciate doing what we do for you. We like it. We like good results. We like people coming up to us and telling us, thank you for taking care of my house while I was gone this summer. We appreciate that. So now it's your turn. Question.
Yeah, two actually. One thing I heard the other day on the radio kind of made my blood run backwards. He said that they would be using AI to fill in people's voices. This business about your grandson or your granddaughter or your neighbor, if they get their voice on AI, they can sound like they are scamming right at you. I'm sorry, I didn't think I couldn't be heard.
Did everybody hear?
Yes.
Good, good.
Now I can whisper. No, but they were talking about radio and television production kinds of companies that can use it. But these scammers are smart. Many
Yes.
of them, they really weren't born yesterday,
Yeah.
and they're pretty clever. They get a hold of AI, you will think you're hearing your grandson say, "Grandma, help me!" And it's going to be very, very difficult as far as the emotions.
You're right. Yeah.
That's one thing, you know, that's new. The other thing just made my blood run backwards recently, well, this was several years ago, is all that shredding information you're talking about. Thank you for that. But I wish our telephone directories didn't even include our occupational background. I mean, talk about knowing how to get at you. You know, you were an executive secretary or you were this or that. Man, that is an open sesame.
Yeah. That you are correct.
Have you talked to them?
No, no.
You might wanna do that.
We really don't have anything to do with the phone, what goes in the phone books. And if you notice, this is not put out by a phone company. This is really sponsored by lots of people in the community. They pay for these phone books, and they pay for advertisement that is going to go into these phones so that you can see their ads. But you are correct. There's a lot of information in the phone, in those phone directories. I'll tell you something else. Obituaries. Obituaries have too much information in them. And I have always said, yes, you love this person dearly. Yes, they were wonderful. They did so much. They accomplished so much in their lifetime. But do you need to put it in the newspaper for strangers to look at? Because the strangers that are looking at it are your bad actors. And they get information about that loved one and that loved one's family.
And when the funeral is.
And when the funeral is, when they're going to be out of town. And so what we say is, you know, save all this wonderful stuff that you want to say about your loved one for your eulogy that you will do at their service. Not for strangers to look at columns and columns of all these wonderful deeds this person did, because it's only wonderful to you and a few others, but not to everybody who buys the newspaper. Yes, ma'am.
Might it be helpful if someone with a sense of authority, such as your scam squad, spoke to the people who publish those phone books and point out to them the threat that they are creating for identity theft and for scamming?
I think it's a very good idea. I really do. I will bring this up to our commander and see what he can do, because he meets with the Green Valley Council And Green Valley Council is, it's like our city council here, but we're not a city. But we do have this council, and they do bring things up to city council in Tucson. And they have a bit of power. I will talk to the commander, and I will ask him that question that both of you have said. It is very important. It is very important that our stuff isn't published out there for everyone to see. Yes?
I have 2 questions. One has to do with dementia.
Okay.
And is there anything that we can do to help protect people who are getting dementia, who are living alone at this point in time?
There's very little unless they have a good caregiver or their family members are right there with them all the time, checking up on them, making sure that they're not getting into trouble while they're by themselves. What we have with the Sheriff's Auxiliary Volunteers is a program called Telecare. Now, this is not necessarily if you have dementia, but this is if you live alone and you might have some physical problems or illnesses that keep you at home quite a bit and you don't really get out much. What we do, I'm not part of this program, but we have volunteers who make phone calls every morning, and they call each and every member who is signed up for Telecare. They call them in the morning just to make sure they're okay. So if they pick up the phone, they just say simply, "Hi, this is your morning call. Just want to make sure you're okay this morning. We'll talk to you tomorrow," and they hang up. It's a short little call. We have been able to help people who fell down during the night and they couldn't get up. And when the phone rang in the morning, they knew, okay, I'm not going to be able to pick up the phone, but I know they're going to send help, because that's what we do. If they don't answer the phone, then we assume there must be some problem, and we will send someone to check up on them. Yes, ma'am.
I had a friend that was that way. She had your service, and they called her every morning, and twice they've had to call me because they couldn't get a hold of her. And the last time they called me, I said I wouldn't go, and I don't know why, but I said call the police. Police went in, and she had died.
Oh, that's sad.
I was so glad that I didn't go and see her
Right, yeah.
that way. And it was, some things that think it was suicide, some don't, but she had one of these cars with a plug thing, and all the gas went into the house,
Oh.
and that's how she died.
And going back to the dementia question, and then I'm going to answer yours.
Well, I wanted to address that dementia question a little bit, I guess, is that I think one thing that you can do is help people to freeze their credit scores on the 3 different credit bureaus, and that way if someone's going to take out a loan in their name, they can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
So that would be a suggestion.
And again, if it's someone with dementia and they can't do this on their own, they have children or close friends who can do that for them. There is information in the handout on the 3 numbers to the 3 credit bureaus that you can call when you want to freeze your accounts so that no one can use your credit card numbers or bank accounts. Everything is frozen. And no one can open any loans using your name and your social security number if they happen to have it, because your accounts are frozen. Everything has to go through the credit bureaus for approval before a loan goes out or is given. And if you decide when you have frozen your account that you want to buy a new house or you want to get into a new car, and then you just unfreeze your accounts. If you need a loan or anything like that, if you don't have the cash to pay cash for a new house or whatever, you unfreeze your loan, and then you freeze it again once the business is taken care of.
You can also contact the FEMA Council on Aging. There are procedures you can go through if someone has no one,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
there are procedures you can go through in a court to have someone established as their fiduciary trust person.
Yes.
And they can then take control
Yeah.
of the finances with some oversight, obviously. But that way, if someone's trying to scam the person with dementia, they don't have access to this stuff.
Yeah, there's just so many things that we can do. Valley Assistance is very helpful with things like this. You have any questions, Valley Assistance has people who will help people get set up, get established with the Council for the Aged, even just deciding what insurance they want to go with if they need to change insurances. They'll work with them. Yes, sir.
Well, I have one more question, and that is that I'm a pastor. I'm also a hospice chaplain. I get a lot of calls from numbers that I've never seen, never known, and people have died, and they want me to come in the middle of the night. If I
Okay.
hang up on all these numbers,
Oh, wow.
what I'm asking is if I answer something, I did just before I came here, somebody called me, I hung up on it. Do they keep that number that they called? Do they know that I hung up on them? I have to answer these phone calls. And I don't know where they're,
Yeah.
I'd say a third of this congregation has numbers that are not from 520.
Oh, yeah, I understand that, yeah.
What is the results of me answering the call when people are scamming? And I hang up. Now, I'm smart enough at this point, but I'm worried about dementia. I'm worried about, I thank you for that opportunity to freeze my account so that nobody can get to them and get money, but
There are situations where you have to answer the phone, period. If you own your own business, for example, you can't be hanging up the phone on people because you could be hanging up on customers. So that's a different situation. In your situation, you just have to make sure that when you answer the phone and it's someone who really is in need and they want you to go, see someone, you want to make sure that you answered that call. And you need to make your own mind whether it is something that you want to do or send someone else, or maybe it's a sheriff's department business, not necessarily yours. But it's hard in a situation like that where you're in a position where you have to answer the phone, and the phone calls can come in the middle of the night, and they're important to someone. The person making that call to you, is important to them that they get in touch. They don't want to get hung up, but you have to make a determination of how you want to handle this.
So I get a scam call and I hang up immediately. Does that hurt me in any way?
Oh, no.
Okay.
Because you know what? These guys, they're out to get your money. They're just going to move on to someone else. Their bottom line is to take our money. However, but if you hang up on them, okay, this guy's too smart, let's go on to my next number. That's how they operate. If you get nasty with them, if you play along with them, that's where it gets you in trouble. You don't want to play with scammers. They have a very short temper, and they can say ugly things to you, and you don't want to put up with that. So the best thing is to hang up and don't carry any kind of conversation with them. You know it's a scam, so why do you want to play with them?
But it won't affect me in any way.
No.
That's what I'm concerned.
No. I mean, they may call you again. They may try something else again because, as I said in my slide, they don't give up easily, but it's not hurting you in any way. Sometimes they don't even know where you live. You're just a telephone number that was generated by a computer. You are not a telephone number that they got from the phone book necessarily. Okay?
And they're not necessarily smart.
And
I got a phone call from my phone number.
Yeah, exactly.
To my phone number.
Exactly. I think a lot of us have gotten a phone call from our own telephone number. Oops, I keep hitting this thing. Yes, over here.
Do you have a list of accredited credit rating bureaus?
It's in there.
It's in there.
Yes. We try to cover everything.
You have a list.
Yes, ma'am.
And
All right.
could they like block the number? I've blocked numbers.
You can block numbers.
Yeah.
You can block telephone numbers if you keep getting a call that's harassing you, you can block the number, but let me tell you, if they know that you're blocking their number, they simply get a different telephone with a different telephone number. Yes, ma'am.
That's true with politicians. too.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
So if you have a scammer that's calling you, so if you have a scammer that's calling you and you happen to answer it by mistake, because then they know that's a good phone number,
Right.
and say you have bank account information or whatever, personal information on your cell phone, and they've accessed that saying that they know, because they know that that's a good phone number, can they get into your bank?
You really have to give them access to your bank account information. Just by calling your number does not give them access to anything in your cell phone, for example. It doesn't give them access to everything else that you have in your phone. No, but if you give them access, if you're talking to someone and they're telling you there is, okay, well, I just got this one last week, okay? PayPal. These people got a bill from PayPal. They owe $688 to PayPal. This woman didn't even know what PayPal was, all right? But she gave them access to her bank account. And so the next thing you know, they're moving money around on her. They moved from her savings to her checking so that she could pay the $688. She got nervous, she hung up, she went to the bank, and the bank fixed her up. She's got a new account now. But yeah, you never want to give your banking information to anyone or access to your account, to your computer. These guys, like, she says, they're really smart. It's a few keystrokes and they're in, but you have to do those strokes to let them in, all right? So, yeah, good question. Yes, ma'am.
Dave, you had asked, the 3 credit unions that you have listed are not the only credit unions. So you might want to Google credit unions, because Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion are not the only ones, and I know that for a fact, because I recently encountered 2 more I never heard of.
Did you have something, sir?
Yeah, I was thinking, the other thing that you might be able to do for friends that have dementia or whatever would be to go to their bank with them and say, limit my daily transactions to a certain number,
Yeah.
$200 or something. The same thing with credit cards
Yeah.
and stuff like that too. You can have your family texted alerts from your credit card to their text saying, oh yes, there was so much sent, $500 or $800 sent to so-and-so, it's up by your parent, because you can have your credit card send
Yeah.
the text messages to them. The other question I did
Yeah.
have is, fairly new to the area now, and I've signed up for different things, Papa John's or Papa Murphy's Pizza and this and that, and a couple times this past month, I get a $1 charge on my credit card to see if the credit card is good
Yeah.
when they're charging something.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's out of the country even, it
Yeah.
says, and that just seems strange to me. It scares me.
If your bank isn't catching it,
Okay.
you talk to your bank. You need to change your bank account number.
Well,
Okay.
not the
So-
bank account, this is a credit card, but
A
you need
credit
to
card.
change the
Credit
credit
card.
But it never gets charged, it never goes through.
Because-
It's
oh.
then they
That's
go ahead
valid.
and charge me $17 for the pizza.
Right.
And stuff, but they're all checking ahead. to
They're
make sure
checking
it's a valid
ahead,
card.
but your credit card company is catching them.
Okay.
And so they're not going
Okay.
through. But that's how they start. They start
Okay.
with a small amount of money, and then when they notice that you haven't done anything about it, then they go for a bigger purchase.
However, what he's talking about is also a valid way of checking to a credit card.
Yeah,
Well-
Waste Management charged me $1 or whatever
Exactly,
when I
and
signed up
then,
for them.
and then they credit it back. It's just to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, or they never, or it never
Right.
goes, it's pending and it never
Right.
goes through.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, yeah, sometimes when you open a new account, that's the way you want to do it. You want to put in a small amount of money and then if it works, then you go ahead and you put in the rest of the money. Well, scammers work the same way. They've got your credit card number and they will charge a small amount of money, and if you don't do anything about it and the account is still open, the next time maybe a bigger one. Always check with your credit card company and make certain that they are the ones that are not letting that dollar go through, or if it's the Papa Murphy that was only testing it with $1.
Gas stations when I travel, put $1 on your card before they let you pump gas.
Yes.
Oh my God.
So the thing is that there are services that you can sign up with your credit card companies and with your banks, that whenever you charge anything, they will send you a text or an email letting you know that a certain amount of money just went out. It was charged to your credit card. And that way okay, yeah, I just did this. And it's instantaneous. They send you this message right away. You just spent $82 on a pair of pants. Well, maybe not. But they'll tell you right away. So okay, this is my charge. I just did it. It's still fresh in your mind. You know how much you paid. But if you get an email with $1 or maybe $1.75, something like that, question it and call your credit card company. Don't call any other numbers that may be showing up. Look at your credit card. In the in the back of the card, there's a customer service number. You call that number. That is the safest thing to do. You call that number. I got a text message 2 years ago. I was in Nebraska. I got a text message that $1.75 was just charged to my American Express card. And there was a telephone number for me to call. Yeah, right, no. I got my card out. I called the number, the customer service number. I talked to someone, and yes, in fact, they had sent me the text message because they knew I was in Maine. Coming back, I was in Nebraska. I was nowhere in California when this charge came through. And I mean, credit card companies don't want to lose any money, so they're keeping track of these things. Because anytime they lose money, that's money that's coming out of them. Okay, they are insured, we are insured, and that's why you should use a credit card and not an ATM card to buy your groceries or to buy any other items, because your ATM card is tied in with your bank account, and if someone ever gets a hold of your ATM card, they can wipe out your bank account, and that money cannot be replaced. Okay, but if someone gets a hold of your credit card and you quickly report, I didn't spend this $50, this is not my charge, they will put the money back. They are insured, you're insured, you can get that money back.
With an ATM card, though, you can specify a
How
maximum
much?
amount for any transaction.
Yes.
You don't have the same kind of protection with a debit card.
No. Debit cards, ATM cards, it's the same. They're tied into
Not
your...
according to my bank.
You might have something different, but my ATM card is my debit card tied into my savings account. I don't use it unless I'm going to go get money from the ATM. That's the only time I use it, but I have seen people at the grocery store buying their groceries with their debit card. It's risky. Yes?
I had a message today on my phone saying, we haven't seen each other for a long time. When can we meet? And of course, I deleted it right away. But that was about the third time I've received something like that.
Yeah, I've been getting those.
I have no idea who it is.
There's these people who do this. They want to make friends with you, and once they're friendly with you and you start feeling comfortable with them and you start sharing information, they're just out to scam you. My husband got one that said, "Hi dear, I haven't seen you in a while. I am the only dear here, okay?"
Yes.
Here, we'll let Chad
I'm the camera operator, but I just got a text 10 after 1, right after this started, and it said, "How are you? Are you working today?" No idea who it is. So,
I hope you didn't respond.
no,
No, I'm in a gated community.
yeah, right. It's hard to share that with everybody.
Wow.
I know you said not to play with scabbers, and I will not do it again. But one day, a young man who obviously was not from the United States, or his English wasn't very good, just put it that way, which is fine. Anyway, he called, and he was just blatant scam stuff. And I was very quiet for a minute, then I said, "Does your mother know what you do?" and the reaction I got was, "They're very proud of me! I'm a very good boy! She's got a very good boy!" So, and I hung up. But I thought it was funny. I won't do it again, but I wanted to share the humor.
I told a caller that, you do realize you're reaching the local FBI office, right? Click.
One of the things that I would like to share with you is that you may have family members who post a lot of things on Facebook, and they post things you go, "Really? You want to post that?" But we had an individual who had a grandson who visited her and went off skiing. And he was very generous in what he was sharing. And she gets the phone call, and it was from where he was going to be going to ski. And he was injured, and yes, he had insurance, but there would be additional costs that needed to be covered. They would transfer her, the grandmother, to the accountant at the hospital, and it went on, and of course she's, reacting as you would anticipate with that surprise call. And then she realized, and she slowed down, and began to think, and then she did hang up. And that was because, unfortunately, he shared a great deal on his Facebook. Now, it could be other ways of sharing, but keep that in mind. We all just share, but many of the younger people share many, many things. And to keep names and locations, those kinds of things, quiet is helpful to many of us. Some of you picked up a little card, and you have an email address. You can join what's called the e-blast, and you can be getting information from the Scam Squad sent to you on a regular basis. So I'm going to plug that in a big way. You can stop in, you can call, leave a message, and we'll get back to you. So please take a look at the literature, and I have several copies here of what an e-blast would look like, and we have people who print them out because they want to keep them and share with others.
And pass them around.
And so keep that in mind as another way of communicating with us. And when in doubt, please hang up. And you were asking about telephone numbers. If they don't have any luck, they may or may not give your number to somebody else. But if you continue to be vigilant, your situation is a tough one. And I've talked to business people who have had the same kind of situation. But just keep that in mind. And we've all reacted, and then we're trying to calm down and realize, oh, and then you hang up.
Yeah.
And we've done research, and we've looked at letters that people have gotten. And doing the research, we found out that a lady who was employed in Illinois, the letter was a genuine letter. By doing some research on the internet first, and then I called and I identified myself as an individual who was investigating this and had it on speakerphone. so the individual who walked in with the letter could proceed
Yeah.
to speak with them, and it was a genuine situation.
Yeah.
But the IRS and others are not going to text you, and they're not going to call you. And yes, some of the letters are interesting. Their English is getting better. Their sentence structure is even better.
Spelling classic.
But we need to be vigilant.
Yeah.
And we've laughed about it, but it used to be letters, then it became phone calls, then it became emails right along with the phone calls, text messages. It's amazing what we get.
Yeah.
And you just need to be careful.
Just a little aside, I did get a letter from the IRS, and I got a nice check. I overpaid.
I just have one more message. This is really important and it really works well. Grandparent scams. Okay, we have talked about grandparent scams. You have a grandkid saying, Grandma, Grandma, I'm in trouble. Who is this? Oh, it's your favorite grandchild. Really? Get together with your family today and come up with a code word. When that grandkid calls you and says, this is your favorite grandchild, you say, oh yeah? What's the code word? They won't know it. This is your secret code word only within your family. You will not share it with anyone else. And when that scammer calls and you ask for the code word, he's going to hang up on you. Okay? It works.
And that will obviate the AI problem too.
Yes. Yeah, because AI does not understand things like that.
No, it won't know the code word.
It won't know the code word either. Okay?
Thank you.